Hi, it's Lisa here with you today. Thank you for joining me. I am creating today with my lovely new Cocoa Daisy kit. It's the June kit. I am planning to scrap today with quite a few photographs. I've printed them off already, so I'm ready to go. And there we go, several photographs, and they are all about 2.5 inches square, a couple slightly smaller, and I've printed them off with lovely white borders. Today I'm deciding to make a layout with several photos but still keeping quite a pretty design and adding some journaling as well. So I am using this piece of paper here, which is great that I've cut off the bottom already and I can't remember what it was, so I'll find out for you in a second. And I'm using quite a few bits and pieces today from the Day in the Life kit, the Cocoa Daisy kit from June. So I'll be using these two, and we've got some exclusive Cocoa Daisy bits and pieces as well. I'm loving this whole combination of greens, blues and red. I really like that. So let's get started. I've kind of laid things out, so I kind of had an idea in my mind what I want to do. Obviously, when you've got so many photos, you don't have to worry about design quite so much because the photos do take up quite a lot of what's on the page. I particularly like these journal cards here, so I've decided to go with these, and I'm just going to lay my photos out now. This card here, this journal card, says about the best dad. I've recently been, my dad lives in the States, I'm in the UK, recently been to visit him, so I wanted to make a layout about us driving 1,200 miles to go and visit him. We arrived in New York and drove across the States and went to see him. So let's lay these out. They need to be in order. I've taken photographs of the trip as we were traveling. So we've got some as we left New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore. And oh, actually, let's start off with my husband with the car as we collected it. Then that one there. What's this one here? This one is Memphis, Chattanooga and Nashville. That one could go there. And what are these ones? Oh, well, we've got Tennessee. Actually, I think these might need to go across the top. Let's have Tennessee, and that's it. And then 3 here. We've got arriving in Kentucky. I can't remember how I'd laid this out now. That's typical, isn't it? Let's move these. I quite like things so they're not completely straight. And that's the Kentucky state border. And then we've got the sign, the first sign to Evansville where my dad lives. And then we've got Indiana as well. Let's do that like that. Then I could always have some journaling there. Okay, I think I'm sorted. I'm going to stick them down with only a small piece of sticky in the center. Then if I do want to move things around or add bits and pieces around the photographs, I can. The colours all coordinate quite nicely, the photographs and the papers, so that's worked out rather nicely. Let's move these along slightly. Okay, let's have that one on top like that, and then let's have our Kentucky photo, and we've got the Evansville photo. I like this photo. It's got Evansville and Henderson. My dad works in Henderson in Kentucky and lives just over the Indiana state line in Evansville. So that's cool. We have got one lovely journal card, which I shall stick here. And then, see, all the journal cards are double-sided. Quite like that. And let's let's have the photo. This photo was taken as we were pulling up onto the driveway of my dad's. I hadn't been to my dad's house for nearly 16 years. So it was quite a long time, and it was the first time, I was going to say it was the first time my kids had been there, but actually my daughter was 10 months old when I went last time. So we see my dad a lot anyway. He comes up, well, I say a lot, he comes over to us every August. So we get to see him then. Right, my photographs are down. I'm wondering, do I move this one in the middle? There. Don't know. No, it needs to be there to follow the story, really, doesn't it? So, yeah, I'll stick with that one there. I've got some sticky foam pads that I'm going to use. Let's cut these in half. I like to add sticky foam pads, it just adds some extra height. Okay, let's do that. And then I've got some circles and various other bits and pieces that I'm going to add. So we've got the date, so I was going to do the date of the start of the journey. We did this trip over the space of 2 days. The side, perhaps, or there. Let's do that one there. And then I've got to have a heart next to my dad. There we go. I like how the colours contrast there. Let's put this one with just a bit of tape. We don't need too much tape. What should we put this one? Put that one down there. Can't decide whether or not to use this one. No, I don't think I will. Might leave that one. I've got some other bits and pieces here as well. Yeah, I might add that one up there. This is why I like all the bits and pieces. I like to play and add things as I go. I might pop that one in just a little bit more, just have that as a tape note actually, as we crossed into the Indiana state line. Got some sparkly, not so keen on that. I think I'm almost done. That was a quick layout, wasn't it? I'm going to concentrate on my journaling. That needs to be done. And I think I need to do some doodling. Let's grab a black pen and let's go around. I don't know why I don't doodle around the edges before I stick them down. It would make so much more sense, and yet I never do. I always end up doing this, and it's not quite the same. I do like the white borders. I was going to journal around the white borders, I remembered now. That kind of has just changed. Never mind. There we go. I do like white borders around photos. I just think it looks so much cleaner, I say, as then I draw all over them. There we go. Almost done. I print all my photos off on the PC. Most of these were actually taken. They were Instagram photos that I've saved. My photos instantly upgrade to Flickr. So I've always got them once they've been taken. So I've just printed them off on normal Canon photograph paper, and I just size them to the size that I want and print them off. Works out quite handy. I tend to quite enjoy printing and using smaller photographs these days, and I love square photos, so taking them on Instagram works really well. Okay, I think that's done, and I am going to do my journaling and then just add a bit more colour, and then we'll see where we are. So I've finished all my printing. This is how I like to print off my journaling strips. I print onto a regular A4 piece of white thin card, decide on my wording and my colour and my font type, print it off like that, and then I'll cut it into strips to add to my layout. I need to work on my title next. I found these acetate words that came in the Cocoa Daisy set kit from Pink Fresh. I really like these, so I thought I'd add a couple. So I'm going to add one along the bottom here. I'm just going to do a bit of tape on there for now. I might just add some staples eventually. Pop that there for now. I can always move it then. And I've got happy on the bottom and noted on the top. I only want a little bit, literally just to hold it in place. I'm going to kind of thread that through a little bit, I think, like that. And the title. These are vellum alphabet stickers. Let's give these a go. I haven't opened these yet. Oh, I've just realised there's different colours in here. I didn't realise that. That's quite cool. Do we go blue? Do we go green? Do we go peach? Please excuse the Muku clock. Let's go with blue. Saying that, there's no numbers on them, so I can't actually use these anyway. I need a plan B. There's no numbers on these, and there's no numbers on these. How can I use numbers if I don't have any? That's not very good, is it? Right, definitely no numbers here. I'm tired, so I'm just double checking that I haven't just missed them. No, I am going to need to improvise somehow. I might have to grab another kit because I really need some numbers. Bear with me. So, plan B, I have got these lovely sparkly thickers from last month's kit, so I'm going to use those instead. The reason I really wanted the numbers is because I actually want to document how many miles we travelled to see my dad, which was 1,120, I believe it was in the end. I think it was like 121 or something that was on the clock in the end. There we go. And for all people in the UK, that's the amount of miles we travelled, and we put in total $90 in the car, in that great big car. Can you believe that? That is crazy. That's so cheap. Right, that's the number of miles we travelled. I can't think straight now. I am so tired today. So now I want the word miles. Let's do it in here. These are vellum stickers, so I'm guessing they're reasonably fragile. I don't want to break them. Miles. Okay, I'm going to stick this title on. I finished my title. That amount of miles to see you. I found these as well, these Pink Fresh word and praise stickers. I think these came with my day in the life kit. I saw this here and I thought this would be absolutely perfect actually. Let's take this off. It says, today I am excited about everything, and that's exactly how I felt on this day, waking up and knowing that I was going to see my dad. I felt quite emotional when I was printing off these photographs yesterday, just remembering that feeling of leaving New York, or rather leaving DC, and just knowing that I was going to see my dad. We stayed overnight just inside Virginia, and just 10 minutes from the Tennessee border, and it was just so bizarre waking up that day knowing that I would be seeing my dad later on. Really, really strange. It was a very nice day. Where should we put this one? Put that one there. And I think I need to get on and trim my words. I'm going to do that next. I just thought I would show you the little strips once I've trimmed them off. They look like this. And then I just trim them down and then stick them in place. I've got some PVA glue here. Just add a little bit on the back of each one. And then I'll stick them on the photograph, so I'm going to go through and do each one. Okay, I just wanted to show you, I realised I'd forgotten a photograph. It was quite an important one, the one of when we were driving through the mountains in Virginia, and it wasn't until I was cutting out my words, my journaling, when it says through Virginia in the mountains, I realised I'd forgotten. So this is when it comes down to being grateful that I've actually only stuck down the centre of the photos. As you can see, they come up so easily. So I've just been jiggling things around a bit. I'm peeling everything ready to stick back down in place, and now I'm going to need to just go over with the pen in a few places. These things happen sometimes, and like I say, that's why I like to prepare for every eventuality, and by doing things like using repositional tape and just sticking down the centres, that means any problems and they can soon be rectified. I'm just going to carry on with the journaling again now. Almost finished this layout. I've used this stamp here, this Becky Higgins stamp, to do the dates that we travelled. I am going to add a tiny little bit of paint here and there, just literally a little bit of yellow. I'm going to run along the corners and the sides just for a little bit of colour. There we go. Almost done. And I would say this layout is done now. Oh, see, this is what happens when I do a little bit extra. Now I've got to do extra elsewhere. And see, that one I'm not keen on either. I always take it too far and I just do a little bit too much. I'm gonna pull away now and stop. And I think, oh, now I've just blobbed a bit as well. You know, when you just wish you'd stopped a few minutes ago. Right, let's clear that off. And we'll do that sideways, and we'll pretend it was meant to be like that. So then we'll do a little bit more up there, and it's just getting very painty, and I didn't want it to. And now we're going to have to add some red drops because there's too much yellow. Oh, and now we've got it on the photo. Do you get the feeling that this layout is going disastrously wrong? I am going to have to redo that photo, I think. Oopsie. Right, I'm going to walk away from this layout now, and I will come back to it later because it's just going wrong. The layout is now finished. I just thought I would show you and just go through a couple of things. Obviously I've got all my photos in a row telling the little story. I've got my journaling strips on there which also tell the story as you go through each photograph. If there's one tip I can give you, that is to cover up your photographs when you're splashing your ink. A way that I usually do it when I'm scrapbooking is I would cover them like this and then splash my ink so that you don't get your photographs. But obviously I'm doing this on camera and I completely forgot. I was just getting on with it, so things happen sometimes, but it's easy just to take off, so I can always reprint and replace the photograph, which again is the beauty of printing them yourself. These things happen. At the end of the day though, it's only paper. It can all be remade, so as far as changing bits and pieces, it's really not a problem. Just show you the embellishment spot there in the corner where you've got the alphas and the little embellishment strips and the thickers. So that's my finished layout. a road trip layout. Thank you for joining me today, and any questions, please ask. Thanks, bye.